Hi everyone, I am so happy to be back here again. For today's session, we'll be learning how to use rectangular patterns. We also learn how to use the circular pattern, and we will also take our time to learn how to use some more construction planes. To help us to do that, I'll be drawing two projects like we did last week. The first one is a bracket like this one, and I'll use the bracket to show you how to use rectangular patterns and how to use some of the planes. And then the next thing I'll be doing is I'll be showing you how to use the circular pattern feature to create this spur gear like this one. But before we get to work, I would like to say that I am very happy with the output in the previous two assignments. You guys are doing so fantastic, and I am so happy with the amount of information you have learned in this very short time. I'm so impressed. I am also very happy that some of you have also taken the initiative to create your own projects outside the classroom and share them with me. It makes me feel so happy. The elders of my village say, a little cat a day keeps boredom away. So you can go by the saying from my elders in my village and then continue doing more card and keep sharing them with me. I'll be very happy to watch all of them. Yeah, hello once more. To draw our custom bracket, we will be drawing a rectangle, a 2-point rectangle of dimension 100 by 250. You can also just draw a rectangle like this, anyhow you like it, and then you can use the dimensioning tool to dimension it. All right, so you can do something like this, and then you change it to 100, and then you do something like this, and then you change this to 250, and you press enter. Now I am coming to extrude this into a flat surface. So I'll press on finish sketch, and then I'll follow it with E, which is the shortcut for extrude, and then I'll make it 10 millimeters thick. So this becomes my rectangle. Now I am coming to drill a hole on this surface, and when I drill the hole, I'll use rectangular patterns to create multiples of those holes. So I'll once again use the hole wizard. I'll click on the point where I want my hole to be drilled, and then I'll change the settings of the hole, and then I'll make here all. So my hole is right at the place I want it to be, and then I press on enter. Rectangular pattern is a way for me to create either a 3D feature or a sketch feature along a line, or to create it to look like a table. Let me show you how to do that. So I'll be creating multiples of this hole on this surface. So what I'll do is I'll click on this rectangular pattern tool, and then when I click on the rectangular pattern tool, I'll need to select what feature or what sketch feature I want to create multiples of. So I'll select features, and then I'll select this hole as my feature. After that, I need to select the directions in which I want to replicate them. So my goal is to create 5 of these holes along this edge within a distance of 200 millimeters. So the first thing I'll do is to select the direction that I want my holes to be created on. you can choose an edge or you can choose a plane. Whichever one you choose, the software will allow you to do that. Now, when you choose the edge, the next thing you have to provide is the total distance from the beginning of the pattern to the end of the pattern. Take note of this. So I want from the beginning to the end of my pattern to be 200 millimeters. So you see that this one will start from here and then it will end over here. Now the next question I want to answer is, how many of the features do I want to replicate? So as I said earlier, I want to make 5 of these holes along this line. So when you are done with this, you can press on OK. Another way you can do that is by pulling on this arrow. So you pull the arrow from here all the way to where you want it to end, and then you end over there. All right. So I just press OK, and then I have my holes generated for me automatically. Let me try it one last time. I'll create another hole over here using a rectangular pattern. After that, I'll multiply them along this edge as well. So I'll once again click on the rectangular pattern, and then I want the distance from here to the next hole to be about 30 millimeters. So I'll once again click on features, and then I'll select this hole, and then the next thing I have to do is to click on the direction and then tell it that I am going in this direction, and then the number of holes I want to create, let me make it 2. And then the distance, I want the distance to be 30. So when I do that, you see that I'll have one here, and then the distance here is what? 30 millimeters. So I press on OK, and I am done with this. I can also use the rectangular pattern again to repeat what I did earlier, which is to click on this, tell it to go through 200 millimeters, and the number of holes is going to be 5, and then the direction is going to be this. And then I press on OK. So this is basically how to use the rectangular pattern. Now let's continue drawing these brackets and learn more about how to use different types of planes. So I will draw a 2-point rectangle on this face along here, and the thickness of it is going to be 10 millimeters. And then I'll press on finish sketch, and then I'll extrude this to a height of 50. Let me make it 100 millimeters. So this becomes my custom bracket. So I will make some support features over here, and then when I make the support features, I'll show you how to use the rectangular pattern to create those support features. So to create my brackets over here, or my support for the brackets, I'll be clicking on the construct, and then I'll click on offset plane, and then I'll click on this surface because I want my brackets to be along this edge of this bracket that I am creating. So I'll move this to this point, which is 35 mm away from the edge of the bracket, and then I'll press on enter. And then I'll click on sketch, and then I'll select the new plane I have created. And I'll use the line tool. I will draw a line from here to this point. I'll make sure that it is 45 degrees. And then I'll draw another one here, and then I'll close it like this. After that, I'll use the extrude tool, and then I'll pull my support through a distance of 10 millimeters. So this becomes my support for the bracket. Let me apply some fillets on the edges of my support bracket. So I'll click and then hold on the control. and then I'll select the edges that I want to create the fillet on. All right, so I'll make it 4 millimeters. So this is our bracket. I can apply some more fillets here, but I won't do it. So I want to show you how you can repeat this same feature we have created using the rectangular pattern. So I'll click on the rectangular pattern once more. And then what features do I want to replicate? I'll click on this guy. And then how many times do I want it? I want it 4 times. And then the distance is going to also be, let's say, 180. 180. And then the direction is going to be along this line. And I think I modified the distance once more. So I'll make it 180. And then I can flip the direction using I can use the arrow button to move it down here to where I want it to be. So I wanted 4 of this. So I'll use the arrow button to bring it right here. And then I press on enter. And then that is how to use the rectangular pattern tool to replicate this feature as well. Let me now show you how to use different types of construction planes. So in the earlier videos, we have looked at how to use the offset plane, and then we have also looked at how to use the plane along path for drawing the water pipe. Today I'll look at a plane at an angle, and then I'll also look at the mid plane, and then I'll also look at plane through 2 edges, and we'll see if we can look at this other 2. Let me now start with the plane at an angle. So I'll click on plane at an angle, and what I'll do is I'll draw some small support bracket on top of this one, an extra support bracket on top of this. So if I click on construct followed by plane at an angle, all I have to do is to select this line, and then I can choose to modify the angle at which the plane will be, but I just want it to be collinear with this feature. So I'll leave the angle parameter at 0, and then I'll press on OK. So this gives me a plane on which I can draw some nice and beautiful feature that will be on top of this support. So I can click on the sketch, and then I'll select the new plane I have created, and then I'll draw a center point rectangle using the origin that has been provided me over here. So I'll press this, and then I'll press on OK, and then followed by extrude, and then I'll make it 15. Okay, let me make it 10 mm, and then I press on OK. Hold on, I made a mistake. Extrude. Alright, so the mistake I am making here is I selected the cut. I'm supposed to select the join. So I'll make it 10 mm, and then I'll press on enter. So this is how to create a plane along an angle or at an angle. The next plane I want to illustrate to you is the mid plane. To do that, I want to drill a hole along this face, but I don't want the hole to go through all of it. So to do that, I'll be using the mid plane. So all I have to do is to either select the face of this and the other face, and I'll be able to get a plane in the middle of this structure. So let me show you. So I've clicked on the mid plane, and then I have to just select the faces I am interested in. So this is the first one. I'll rotate it to the back so that I can select the second second plane, sorry. And then you can see that there's a plane right in the middle of this structure. So if I click on the sketch tool and then I select this, I can draw a center point rectangle along this path, and then I'll click on extrude, and then I can extrude it through all of the. So let me make it 5 mm because I know my thing is 10 mm thick. So you can see that I have a hole that has been drilled here, but the hole is starting from the middle part of this feature and it hasn't gone to the other side of it. So this is one simple way of using the mid plane. The next plane I will talk about is the plane through two edges. So this is a very useful one. Let's say I want to put another support bracket on top of this guy and then this edge. All I have to do is to select plane through two edges, and then I'll select this edge. Sorry, let me cancel this and then select this edge and then that edge. And then when I select the edge, I'm coming to create some support that cuts across this feature. So I'll click on sketch and then I'll select my plane and then I'll draw a rectangle from this point to that point like this, and then I'll click on extrude once more. Ooh la la, I have made a mistake. So you click on the plane and then I click on the sketch tool and then I will draw a rectangle from here to here and then I'll click on extrude and then I'll make it 10 millimeters thick and then I'll make the operation a join operation followed by enter, and then here we have another bracket being support. We have a support joining the bracket at this point. Hi, in this section, we are coming to create a spur gear like this one, and I'll use the spur gear to illustrate how to use circular patterns. Circular patterns simply help you to repeat a feature or a 3D feature or a sketch feature along a circle like this one. On this spur gear, I have a number of holes. So if I want to repeat this number of holes along the edges of this spur gear, I don't have to draw all of them individually. All I have to do is to use the circular pattern to create all of them. Let me show you how to do that in the next tab. Now, to be able to create a spur gear, you can actually do it on your own by sketching all the teeth of the gear, by drawing a circle, by creating all the holes in it. But that is not so easy. There is a wizard that helps you to do that, and I want to show you how to use the wizard. To do that, we will be using the add-in tab. So you can come here to tools, and then under add-ins, there is a tool that can help us to create spur gears. The reason I am showing you this add-in now is to help you to explore and look at how you can use other add-ins and plugins for your work. So you can click on add-ins and then you click on the next button here, which is scripts and add-ins. When you are done, you have a dialog box appearing like this. So there are scripts and add-ins for creating things like bottles, bowls, and then you can use the add-ins to change the material of the product you are engineering. We also have some other tools over here, and you can see the spare gear one over here. If you see multiples of something, it possibly means that the plugin was written in a different programming language. So this one is written in C++, and this one is written in Python. So I am going to use the spare gear one written in Python. So I'll click on Run. So when I click on Run, I'll have a dialog box looking like this. And this is all that I need to create my spare gear. So when I come here to Standard, I will choose the metric one. And then the pressure angle, I'll just leave it at 20 degrees. And then the module as well, I'll leave it at 12.7. And then the number of teeth, I'll bring it to 16. You can choose the number of teeth that you wish for. And then gear thickness, I'll make it 15 mm. And then there is supposed to be a hole in the middle of the gear. So I'll make that one 10 mm. So when I am done with all this, all I have to do is to press on OK. So when I press on OK, the command will automatically generate my spare gear for me. So this is a very cool tool that you can use to create gears very easily. Now, imagine you are creating two gears that are supposed to fit into each other and then work seamlessly. You can think about how you can use the add-in tool for creating that. Now, let's go to how to use the circular pattern. To do that, I'm going to create a hole on the surface of this gear, and then I'll use the circular pattern tool to repeat 10 of those holes along the edge of the gear. So I'll click on Solid. I can choose to use the hole wizard, or I can just draw a circle and then extrude the circle. So let me go with the hole wizard. So I'm coming to drill a hole here, and the hole has its settings over here. When you put the hole command and it doesn't appear well, don't panic. You just can modify everything in this dialog. So the first thing I'll modify is this one. That is the diameter of the hole. So I'm going to make the hole 10 mm. So when you do that, you see that the size of the hole just reduces automatically by itself. Now, the next thing I want to modify here is the extent, how deep the hole should go into the spare gear. So I'll click all so that the hole goes through all of the gear. And then after that, I'll realign it a little. And then when I am done, I press on OK. So this gives me my very nice hole. Now, to be able to use the sketch feature, you use the same, you come to create, and then you come here to pattern. And then when you come to pattern, you have two options here. We have the rectangular pattern and then the circular pattern. So let me click on the circular pattern. Now, when I click on the circular pattern, I have a dialog box like this. There are 4 options under the pattern type. That is, what pattern do I want to create? So there are multiple types of patterns that you can create. So you can choose the features, you can choose the faces, you can choose the body, you can choose the components. So I want to create a circular pattern of the hole, and the hole is a feature. So I'm going to choose the feature, and then I'll come and select the hole. And then all that I need is to provide the axis for the circular pattern. So I'll just click on this hole and then I'll use it as my axis. And then the next thing I have to modify here is how many of these features do I want to repeat. So I said earlier that we want to make 10 of them. So you see this marks along the edge of the gear, and then when you press on OK, that automatically generates holes along the edge of our spare gear for you. So to recap, we've been able to use the gear tool, the spare gear tool, which is an add-in, and then we've been able to give it the required parameters, and it was able to generate our spare gear for us successfully. The next thing we continued to do was to create the circular pattern of these 10mm holes on it. All right, so the task for the day is simple. We are going to create 3 models. We will first create a 3D model of anything you can find in your surroundings, in your house, in your room. It can be your favorite toy or something. But it should use rectangular patterns, and it should also use at least 3 of the different construction planes we have used so far. The second model that you are going to create is a 3D model of something that you like or in your surroundings that uses circular patterns. Now, the next task is for you to create your own mobile phone. So, if you don't have a phone, you can model the device that you've been attending our Zoom lessons on. The phone that you model must be as realistic as possible. The screen should be there, all the buttons, everything should be there, just like the way you like it. And the edges should be very well smoothened, similar to the way the manufacturer has designed it. And then the submission time is 13th October, which is next week, Tuesday. You can upload screenshots like we did in the previous lessons on the slot that has been created on Canvas. Thank you.